Hello, everyone. It is October 1st, which means it's the beginning of Scary Month. Which means I have my evil skin on. You've caught me here in front of the building whose exterior I finished in the last episode. And in this episode, we're going to do the scariest thing of all. Organization! Yeah, so at the end of the last episode when I said I was going to start hauling all my unique items up there, I lied. There's actually a lot of preparation that I need to do first, so let's get started on that right now. Rice. Gonna need lots more sugarcane. And some sheep for wool. Forgot to mention, also now that it's October 1st, that means the copper drop came out yesterday, so there's a lot more copper-related items that I need to get for my completion collection. So that's gonna be fun. I'm also gonna need bees, so let's see if I can get some bees to happen. Nope, 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 nope. Maybe more than just one flower will help. Nope, 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 nope. Very nope. Nope, nope. Well, that's nearly all my bone meal. Time to make a composter. Nope. Nope on both accounts. Nope. 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 This is 5%, by the way. That's 1 in 20. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard. Oak, birch, or cherry trees grown from saplings that are within 2 blocks including diagonally on the same Y level have a 5% chance to grow with a bee nest. This holds true in any biome in any dimension, and for any flower, including wither roses and flowering azaleas. I feel like I'm better off going out and finding bees at this rate. Another thing I'm gonna need a good handful of is this pale moss. So I'm gonna run really quick back off to the pail really fast and get a little more. Let's go, Rice. And yeah, I know I could have spread the moss onto like stone or something and dug it up, but I feel like it's way easier to just go out and grab a whole bunch of the stuff that already exists in a place that I can get to easily. And you know what? I also need mushroom stem. I could gather some mushroom stem while I'm here too. There's light down there. Is that a lush cave? Yeah, it looks like regular moss as well. It's such a good looking block. I wish it was easier to get more of it. Yeah, it's a lush cave, alright. Wow, the generation is freaky in this spot. Alright, time to gather some moss for real now. No more distractions. Hey, I've got shears. I can get some of these hanging vines now. Hanging moss, not vines. Important distinction. That will most certainly come up later. Yeah, that's probably enough. Let's head back. Sexual encounters at Walmart? Everyone is gathered at the center of town. You guys having a meeting? Hello, Rice. Let's go home. Oh, the lead. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me grab this bush. For the collection. Ah! Gotta be careful around here. Okay. Got all the moss I need, as well as a bunch of other stuff. I feel like I'm better off just going out and finding a beehive at this rate. Let's skedaddle. I wouldn't imagine there'll be any bees in the colder biomes, so I'm heading in this direction as I am often doing. Just because I don't think beehives naturally spawn on the trees in the, I don't know, cold taiga or ice spikes that are off in the other direction. And I know that there are regular plain forests over here, so have a good look in these woods. Keep an ear out for buzzing now. What's red over there? Roses, perhaps? Roses indeed. I'll take a couple. See any beehives? A big hill over there. What is that? Is that a single floating grass block just randomly in the sky for no reason? Ooh, alliums. Yeah, that is just a single floating grass block in the sky just for not really any discernible reason. Okay, interesting. Cool. Wonderful. Synonyms. Not a beehive, though. It is interesting. There's another village. Oh, quite a big village. Look at the size of this thing. Blacksmith? You know what? I'm gonna take the bell to put at my base And that way, I will increase the chance of a wandering trader showing up. Could be useful. If anyone is watching this and spotted a beehive somewhere on camera, please comment below. Oh, Cherry! I think beehives can definitely spawn in Cherry, but I don't know if they're more likely necessarily. There's pumpkins over there too. How festive. This is such an incredibly tiny cherry forest. Look at this. Oh, bees! Awesome, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe 10 to 12. Hey, there's another village that has a ruined portal next to it. What is up with this world? Could I convince you to go back home? Zbz. Zbz. Go in there. Go in there. Go in there. Pollinate around here, please. Bzz. I will check out that village in a second. They may already be back in there. It's about to go nighttime, so they're guaranteed to go back home. But I think that other bee did go... Nope, he's hanging out. Oh, there's 2 bees. Hey, it's about to be nighttime, don't you know? They always go back in their home at night, so... Okay, I think that was both bees that went back. So whether or not this has 3 bees or just 2, I'm about to find out. Aha, it had 3. Excellent. Then I'll check out that village and head home. Hey, finally a blacksmith, but it's in the most awkward spot imaginable. Bet that guy hates going to work every day. Yeah, there is just a ruined portal right here. Oh, there's a second blacksmith. 2 blacksmiths in 1 village. 2 bells, too. Is this 2 villages merged together or something? This world generation continues to amaze me. Hey, copper horse armor. That's a new item. Nice. Caught it in my mouth. Now to get up there. I guess I could use water. Classic water ladder trick. Sorry about flooding everything down there. I'm sure it'll be fine. There's even 2 houses in here. Single diamond. I'll take the grindstone. Oh, there's still some water left. If I'm quick. Nice. Blast furnace. I should be taking that. Those are hard to craft. Oh, sorry, I just took your job. Alright, I think I head home now. Now that I've gotten a bee nest. Yo, we've got a snowy village! This is the wrong holiday! It's October, not December. You know, I'm actually going to take that smithing table. Smithing tables are kind of hard to craft. Not hard, but like, annoying. Bothersome. I just gotta check all the house chests for tall grass. I don't know if this type of village can have them. Is this a blacksmith? It is! A bundle! I mean, I may as well. I think it's only taiga villages that get tall grass in their chests. That is something I'm on the lookout for, since I'm pretty sure this is the only way you can get it. Another village! Not positive if that's one of the ones I've already seen, but I'm really just village hopping here. This looks familiar. I feel like this is the village that I've already seen. Librarian! Finally! Okay, no tall grass. If it wasn't evident for my excitement at finding the librarian village. I need a lot of books. There's another village. Is this my village? Nether portal? Nether portal. Okay, cool. Oh, there's an igloo here. How long has that been there? Has that been here the whole time? And I never noticed the amount of times that I've come over to this village and just never seen this here? Right, well, nothing out of the ordinary. I guess I'll take the potion and the brewing stand. No emeralds or anything. I guess I'll take the pot and the cactus too. The igloo with the basement being right next to a village is kind of funny. Has implications. Well, I know the way home. It's pretty easy, so I'll be right back there in a flash. Well, now I've gathered a bunch of things, but I still don't have an excellent place to put them. I'd like to bring the bees into a little bit more of an enclosed area. Put some of these pink petals down for them. How about you hang out just kinda right here? Of course, I need to make a campfire. You girls will produce honey for me. Oh, hello! Oh, and they've already made honey. Hi, I'm being sniffed. There you go. You got a home now, too. Well, now that I've gotten the bees, time to take a bee rake. So I've been farming honey for a little while off camera, and I've got quite a bit of honeycomb from it. And I'm going to take all that honeycomb and I am going to use it to craft a whole bunch of beehives. This is a good use for all those jungle logs I had left over from chopping down the top of the mountain. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but it's a good start. Now, one other thing that I'm going to need a little bit of is clay. So, in order to make that process a little easier of gathering clay, I'm going to make a shovel. Here's all my bees. Hashtag my bees. I could probably find a good bit of clay just by wandering over here into this big lake. Yeah, here's a little bit. Do you remember back when clay was like one of the rarest blocks in the game? Because I remember that. Clay and cactus. That was like the rarest things you could have in your Minecraft world. If you had clay and cactus, let alone lots of clay, if you had built your entire house out of bricks, that was like amazing. Clay was so hard to come by back then. That was before river biomes existed, so before rivers, before swamps, probably even before biomes, to be honest, in general. I'm going to turn a lot of this clay into terracotta. Alright, a bee just killed itself on the fire. Thanks for doing that. Love you. Love you, bees. Mambo. We make them gray. And then we smelt them again. Yeah, I know. I'm using glazed terracotta in this build. Trust the process. Okay, let me cook here. Trust the process. Though I'd say out of all the glazed terracotta textures, gray is probably one of the nicer ones. Bees kissing. Oh, right. I think I've finally got everything I need to actually start working on the inside of this place. Let's get that rolling. Okay, so the inside as well as the roof for the archive is now fully complete. And I'm so excited to show it to you because I'm very proud of the way that this interior, this build turned out in the end. So let me go and give you the tour. Here in the front we've got a little lobby area. This is what I ended up using the glazed terracotta for. It's just a little sort of feature in the floor. Got the sort of divider here with the glass and the anvils. This is sort of meant to be sort of like a front desk sort of reception. I'm thinking about moving Lunchbox up here to be kind of like the guardian / instructor of the archive. Little bench, nice seating area. Can't have a library without a good seating area. But yeah, as you can see, I ended up leaning pretty hard into the library feel of this. I had taken a lot of inspiration in particular from like city libraries, especially the kinds that like get built into old buildings, where like they want to preserve the history of the exterior of the building. So that's kind of why there's a little bit of dissonance with the style of the outside, where it's very kind of stone and like decoratively like hewn and carved and columnar and stuff. But the inside is a lot more sort of sleek and modern to sort of give the feel of like this is a historical building that the interior has been like renovated to keep up with the modern styles, because Minecraft as a game is a lot like that. It's a shell of an older game that was made by only a handful of people that then a lot more newer, more modern people came in and started revamping and overhauling and improving and polishing things up a lot. So I think it's very fitting for an archive to showcase the entire history of this game and all of the items that are obtainable within it to sort of have this feel. The carpet as well, I think, is a really interesting choice. It's very busy, but it's not super contrasty, but it's got this blue. I'm using a lot of the warped and the cyan blue as sort of an accent, just a little thing to pop between all of the whites and the grays and the browns, just to add a little bit of extra color. I looked at a lot of like reference images of libraries, and one thing that really struck me a lot with library flooring is they often have these like carpet like tiles on the floor they're like really busy, but like when you look at it from a distance, it's all like super not really high contrast, and it just kind of all blends together. So I ended up taking a sort of pseudo-random pattern to this, where it's all the same elements that are just slapped together in a sort of pseudo-random orientation. I just like putting rules in my builds. Whenever I build something, I always set like invisible rules for myself of like, I can't have like 2 gray squares next to each other. Like it has to border like a dark gray line or the pale moss with the cyan in one corner. But the cyan and moss combo, that can get like rotated around a bunch, and at any point where these dark gray lines meet and there's not enough space, I just threw a cyan in there. So it's not necessarily like cyan is like only allowed to exist with the pale moss square, but it's just kind of like it's very busy, it's very complex, it has a lot of interest to look at, because you know how whenever you're in a library and you're reading and you like space out for a second, you always kind of get lost in the floor pattern? That's kind of what I'm trying to evoke here. The center is lacking right now. I want to have some big centerpiece to throw in here. In my mock-up in the creative version of this world, I built a fish tank, but I'm not entirely sold on this yet. I mostly only built that because, like, every library has a fish tank. You know what I mean? You ever go to a library and they always have a fish tank? Like, every library has a fish tank. So I thought it would be fitting to have a fish tank in here, but I'm not entirely sold on that idea just yet. I was also thinking about putting like a little like custom tree in the middle here, or maybe like some type of light fixture that hangs down from the ceiling. Not the whole way down, but like some combination of those things. If you've got any good ideas for that, leave them in the comments though. I'll be sure to check them out and see if it gives me some nice inspiration. I really like this little area back here also, that's like a little seating area. This chair especially. The shelves in the copper drop are such a godsend. Like, chairs, in my opinion, have kind of always felt a little forced in Minecraft, and I've always kind of thought that they should just add chairs, just as an item. But shelves, with the addition of shelves, it makes really good chairs. And I really like this chair a lot. It feels very sittable. And you know, libraries, they always have to have lots of seating available, so there's lots of tables, lots of benches, lots of couches. Got this area back here. by the windows, where it's kind of a more sort of open common area with a low table and couches that like a lot of people could sit at and like chat and talk to each other and hang out and read together and stuff. I like the little sort of sunken down feature, the synergy between the raised carpeted area and the lower mushroom stem and glazed terracotta. They kind of like give a nice sort of natural modern feel to it. I think that's very nice. I've decided I do want to go for the stairs being here, but I haven't decided on what I want to do with the basement yet, just that I know I want to have one. So this is where stairs are going to go, and it's going to be a lot more modern sort of feeling. You can kind of get a little sense of how they're going to end up based on the surrounding structure. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, besides the lack of a centerpiece, that it looks kind of empty in here, and that's on purpose, because this is going to be an archive to store every item, but it's only got bookshelves right now. So I do need to actually fill this place up with chests to actually store the items, and I'm going to be arranging the chests on the shelves to make it look like, I know we have actual shelves, but they are not enough, trust me. But the chests are going to make it look like the items are being stored on the shelves in sort of a way, and that's going to fill up a lot of the space in here and make it look a lot busier. And speaking of that, since this is a library after all, and we're storing items on bookshelves, the way that I have chosen to organize all of these items is a little bit unconventional, should we say. I think that I genuinely might be the first person in the world to organize every item in the game like this. So while I said in episode 1 that this is not going to be a wholly original series, and I'm just kind of doing it my way, this is one of the things I mean. I'm silly. I do things unconventionally. I do things my own sort of weird way. And this will be a fine example of that, because this is going to be really interesting. And honestly, after having organized every item as a reference in my creative world, I don't recommend it. You should not organize your items like this. I'm mostly doing it because I think it's funny. But anyway, I'm going to go craft up a bunch of chests, and then I will be right back when I show you how I'm actually going to be storing these items. Alright, all of the chests are placed now. Doesn't it look so much more full in here? And yes, all of these chests are required to store every item in the game. There is a lot of items in this game now. So, now let me tell you how I've chosen to sort these items. Oh yeah, I have diamond armor now. I had a bit of a hard time mining some quartz for the ceiling in the nether. It was, got a little bit rough, so I just got a little bit more protected, that's all. But anyway, let me tell you how I'm organizing these items. You know, Minecraft has a lot of ways that it already organizes items for you. You could organize them, by the way, like the creative inventory is sorted, like on wood to stone to iron, copper, like all in order of that stuff. You could sort them chronologically. You could sort them like based on how they were first introduced into the game. You could sort them alphabetically. You could sort them by color. No, you know what I'm doing? This is a library. We're sorting every item by the freaking Dewey Decimal System. I think that I genuinely might be the first person to sort every item in Minecraft by the Dewey Decimal System. I just, like, this is a library. Why would you not want to, like, organize your items the way real libraries are organized? That was my thought process, and honestly, don't do it. It was really hard to organize items in this way, and there's so many items that, like, don't go together, because, let me show you. Let me pop over to the creative version of this world really fast so I can demonstrate that to you. So I'm here in creative mode. You can see the fish tank that I tried to build so that you can get an idea of what that looks like. And here I've created a sort of reference sheet for how I'm actually going to be sorting items in the survival world. And you see, like, the way that the Dewey Decimal System works makes a lot of sense for storing books. And my thought was, like, If every Minecraft item was a book that described everything about that item, where would it be put on the shelf, right? In the Dewey Decimal System, things about computers are like super early on. So I've got just like a handful of redstone components in here. Notice that it's not every redstone component because there's other redstone components that have better places elsewhere in the collection. So that's kind of what I mean, where the collection is going to be sort of fragmented and related items are sometimes going to be stored kind of far away. One other thing, if you're a librarian and you have thoughts on like which items I have chosen to place where, please tell me. I would love to make this this library as accurate to how real libraries are sorted as I can be. And also, thank you so much if you're a librarian. You do amazing work. I broke the floor just now because I'm in creative mode. I wasn't thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, so you can see that this shelf here, I have labeled on the side, goes from the zeros all the way up to 499, and there is no 400 representation in Minecraft from what I chose to believe, but we've got a lot of what I've chosen to call folklore, which is like items that don't really exist in real life and are all sort of made up fairy tale material. All the potions, yep, all the potions. I'm going to be getting those eventually. Yep, every enchanted book. Just one of each with their highest levels. Social customs is where I've chosen to put carved pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern, and snowball. Over here, we've got the 500s, the 600s, which are, as you could expect, highly represented in Minecraft, being earth and science and art and culture. Here we've got our mineralogy, so all of our minerals, which I have chosen to include end crystal and glowstone, despite not existing. They seem crystal-like to me. Magma, snow, ice, here in meteorology. In cases like this, where I've chosen to put multiple subjects in one chest, I've put a book labeling them as if they're like one shelf. Like this is one shelf dedicated to mineralogy at 549, and this is one shelf dedicated to 551. That'll happen a couple of other times in here, like this one down here. Specific animal topics. I've chosen to interpret Skulk as a parasite. Topics on parasites would fall naturally within 591. Trees. Yep, it's all the trees, including their leaves and their saplings, but their wood is over here in 684 in woodworking. So all of the wood, all of the stripped, all of the materials and stuff very nicely and neatly fit into 9 rows for each wood type, solidly into 2 double chests, except for the pressure plates, which in the survival mode version of this world, I'm gonna insert another chest in here because when they inevitably come out with a new type of wood, I'm gonna need someplace to store that too, since this is a forever world after all. Right now I have the pressure plates being stored over here in 745 handicrafts, also where I have bamboo, because bamboo isn't wood. So yeah, that's a little glimpse of the way that things are going to get stored, and now I actually need to get all of the items that I have in survival and transfer them up here into their proper places according to this organization rubric that I've made. Okay, so I have taken all of the unique items that I currently have, and I have sorted them into their proper locations everywhere in the archive. I haven't done a super huge ton of crafting for all of the items that I could possibly fit into here, with like the stuff that I have being able to be turned into the stuff that I could have. I mostly just took everything that I currently have and just filed it away. So let me show you the full state of how everything's going so far. Redstone components is almost complete, only missing the observer. This is where enchanted books will go. I have enchanted books, but they're all from fishing, so they're a little bit disorganized. This one I just need a snowball and it's done. This is our folklore chest. There's a lot of stuff that's like especially late game or highly specific mob drops that I haven't put in here yet, that I don't have. Here's all our potions. I've got this healing potion that was dropped from a witch, this fire resistance potion that I bartered a piglin for, and this weakness potion that's found in the basement of an igloo. Our mineralogy chest is looking a little sparse. A lot of that is like prismarine and stuff like that. I got all the ice though. There's off in the snowy area, there's a bunch of icebergs that I dug that out of. The rocks chest is nearly complete. I believe I'm only missing sandstone and red sandstone, which is pretty easy to get, so that should be 100% complete pretty soon. Here's our economic geology. It's mostly missing the raw ore blocks, as well as basically everything to do with copper besides copper ore, and all of the gem blocks as well. Here is our mushrooms and fungus chest. I haven't put anything in here with regards to the crimson and warped wood types. They don't go in the wood chest because they are mushrooms, but I do have all of the mushrooms and all of the mushroom block related blocks that I've picked up over time. Decided to put slime in here because I thought like slime is similar to like slime mold, I guess, and like slime mold is a type of microorganism, and so is kelp. Fun fact, kelp is an algae, so that goes in here. This is the trees chest. I've got mostly just the logs of all the nearby trees and the saplings of the ones that I've found, but I haven't regrown a cherry tree to be able to chop it down, and I haven't harvested the leaves from a dark oak tree or a cherry tree either. This middle row is the wood, so it's got the bark on all of the sides, and I just haven't crafted those yet. Now this is a chest that is quite full. This is our gardening chest, which contains all of the flowers, a lot of decorative plants, as well as gardening tools like the pot. The composter will go here, and this is also where bone meal lives. This is the animal husbandry chest, which I have husbandry tools as well as animal products in. This is non-food products from non-living animals, basically. This one is the food chest, so a lot of basically everything edible in the game is going to go in here, as well as sugar that I just haven't crafted yet. This is the household utilities chest, which is mostly going to be lighting fixtures, as well as stuff like the furnace, the smoker, stuff like that. This one I think is a really funny overlapping category. This is furniture and explosives. I don't know why, it just happened to line up that way, that they both ended up having the space to share a chest. So it's gonna be mostly beds in here, as well as a handful of decorative furniture items, and also gunpowder and charcoal and fireworks and TNT and stuff. Right, this is the metalworking chest, which is basically going to be full. This is 2 chests nearly entirely dedicated to all of the new copper blocks and all of their oxidation states and their waxed varieties, which is going to be an absolute pain that I have a plan for that I'm thinking I might do in the next episode. Here is our metalworking chest and also paper. This is a very short supply of chest. It's basically just every metal, their ingot, and their block. Which, by the way, why do we not have netherite nuggets? Like, I know why, there's no real reason to have them, but, you know, netherite has an ingot and a block, but no nugget. And it's the only metal item in this game to have that. This is our sheep wool chest. I think that I can 100% complete this real easy just by dyeing all of my sheep that I have out front and just shearing them and crafting up all the carpets. That's just something that I can grind through at a moment's notice, really. And yes, here is one of our 3 woodworking chests. I decided to bump it up from 2 to 3 chests in the survival world because I just didn't feel right having all of the pressure plates being in the handicrafts chest. And whenever new wood comes out, as I mentioned before, I'm gonna want space to put it. Since this is a forever world, I don't want to have to reorganize my entire setup just to add a new type of wood. But I haven't crafted too many wood blocks. I can do that very easy at any time with the wood types that I have. I just haven't done it yet. This is the printing and packaging chest. It's going to be full of chests, books, and bundles. In fact, and shulker boxes. All of the varieties of shulker boxes and bundles take up a majority of the space in this chest, and I had to really squeeze everything in here to get it to be organized properly. This one's our construction stonework. It's going to be mostly non-natural stones as well as bricks. This one's also pretty thoroughly complete. This is our landscape architecture chest. I think there's a handful of things that I haven't put in here, like the grass block and the dirt block, that I just forgot that I didn't have in here. but that is going to include all of the natural sort of earthy materials, as well as a handful of decorative plants that aren't as gardeny. So like the grass, the bush, dead leaves, bamboo is in here. Bamboo, you could make the argument that it's more gardeny, but I put it here because if you've ever seen bamboo in real life, it gets very tall and very large and spreads a lot. So it's more of I would call it more of a filler sort of plant rather than a more specifically garden plant. You think garden plants is more kind of smaller stuff. But I think in like the real world, people usually use bamboo as like almost sort of like hedge material, like tree lines, visual blockers. It's more used as a slightly more decorative landscape piece rather than like hobbyist gardener sort of thing. This is our decorative stone carving. This is basically any stone block that is not natural nor is bricks. So any polished, any chiseled, anything like that goes in here. We're almost there to the end. Here's Handicrafts Part 1, which I think I forgot to put scaffolding and ladder anywhere, and this is just kind of like my best bet, because the construction section of the Dewey Decimal System would include these sorts of things, I bet, but the only chest that I allocated for construction is only construction stonework. So either I'd have to make an entirely new chest just for these two items, or put them in Handicrafts. So I think they're going in Handicrafts. Here's our music chest. Every single disc and every single goat horn will go in here eventually, as well as the note block and the jukebox. Here is our outdoor sports chest. Things relating to like camping, which is why the campfire and the map, this is a buried treasure map that I also got from a shipwreck, is in here. Though that being said, this is our beyond outdoor sports. We have our hunting and shooting chest. All of the tipped arrow types will go in here, as well as the bow, crossbow, fishing rod. I put tripwire hook in here because I imagine, like, when you think of trapping in the real world, that's usually like trapping wild animals for hunting purposes. You know, people aren't usually setting up tripwires for anything other than to catch animals to hunt in the real world, I feel. Could just be a me thing, but that's where I chose to put it. And lastly, this is our ancient history chest. All of the pottery sherds are going in here, as well as bones, skeleton skulls, wither skeleton skulls, and the petrified oak slab, which I have so preciously crafted in the first episode of this series. And that is every chest reviewed and up to date with my current place in the game in the archive. So, now that that's all said and done, I think I will leave it there for this episode. And in the next one, I am going to probably start going on expeditions to try and collect location-specific items, with one of those things in particular being incredibly useful to fill up a lot of space. So anyway, I will see you then.